Libraries are a quintessential part of how people learn and engage with their community. The arrival of public libraries gave Americans unprecedented access to books and other educational materials. They are open to all and focus on serving the needs of the general public. The need for a library system in Bossier Parish arose out of the hardships during the Great Depression. On a national level, President Franklin D. Roosevelt enacted the New Deal, a response offering relief and recovery to Americans through a series of programs, public work projects, and financial reforms and regulations. A New Deal agency called the Works Progress Administration, or the WPA, employed 8.5 million people between 1935 and 1943. One initiative of the WPA was to sponsor nationwide, state-level library demonstration projects to encourage the development of library services to underserved populations, and to extend rural service while simultaneously providing temporary work for the unemployed. The creation of the Bossier Parish Library System was first discussed by supporters in 1940, and the Bossier Parish Police Jury approved the formation of the library on a demonstration basis. This was funded by the State Library of Louisiana for 1 year. The first branches were located in Bossier City, Houghton, Plain Dealing, and the parish seat of Benton. Another demonstration branch opened in Elm Grove in late 1940. It was located in the kindergarten room of Elm Grove School. The WPA provided several assistant librarians, and the Louisiana Library Commission supplied the books. In an agreement between Bossier Parish and the state library, the state provided a bookmobile and other equipment, while a parish tax was used to maintain and expand library services. At the end of that first demonstration year, it was decided by a vote of the taxpayers to keep the Bossier Parish Libraries in operation. The police jury approved the library on a permanent basis, with the passage of a 1/2 millage sustaining tax in June of 1941. Bossier Parish relied on a library bookmobile to reach the parish's more rural communities. By 1952, the bookmobile was making 61 stops every 2 weeks. The bookmobile served our community's rural members for 28 years, until mechanical issues and the changing needs of its patrons took it out of commission. In 1968, a Louisiana State Library bookmobile scheduled for the junkyard was given a new purpose. Bossier Parish librarian Linda Netherland had an idea to convert the bookmobile to a stationary branch for the Koran area. Bossier City donated a tract of land in the Shady Grove subdivision in 1970 for a new branch library. The branch opened in 1971 and was named in honor of Henry L. Alds, Jr., a former Bossier Parish police juror whose efforts were instrumental in the opening of the South Bossier Parish Library. The Alds branch saw renovations and expansions completed in both 1987 and 2004. The Alds branch was the first Bossier Parish Library location to offer computer usage for its patrons, all thanks to an airman at Barksdale Air Force Base. Staff Sergeant David Lambert was hoping to complete some research using a public computer in 1991, but the library did not have a budget for patron computers at the time. Lambert acquired a surplus Commodore computer, and Alds branch librarian Bonnie Clark was quick to offer a space in the library. Local donors soon stepped up to provide a printer, screen, and software. Located in the parish seat, the Benton Library opened in 1940 and served as the main Bossier Parish Library headquarters. Parish librarian Elizabeth Williams, who served from 1940 until her retirement in 1967, worked out of the Benton Library. In 1959, the library moved from its original building, which was the post office, to more modern quarters on the corner of Sibley and 6th Street. This location proved to be too small when library usage increased in the late 1980s. So the building was expanded in 1987 to provide a dedicated children's area, magazine display shelves, and a casual reading area. The current Benton Branch building was constructed and opened in 2006, just down the street from the Bossier Parish Courthouse. The Bossier City Library branch was another of the original 3 library branches and opened in 1941 at the City Hall building on Barksdale Boulevard. Margaret Wiseman served as librarian, while Myra Wiley was her WPA assistant. It opened for business with a splendid assortment of reading material, and patrons remarked the collection of books was to be excellent. The library moved into a neighboring building in 1953 before relocating to a Benton Road location in 1959. This location doubled in size with the 1967 expansion. A remodel in 1988 resulted in the current library facility facing Beckett Street. In the mid-1980s, Bossier Parish Libraries saw a sharp increase in book circulation. To keep pace with the growing parish and its demand for more library services, BPL purchased land on which to construct a new library branch. Voters chose to fund the library's expansion plans, including plans to set aside a dedicated children's space for every location. The proposed tax was the first sought in the library's 45-year history. It was much needed, as the lack of space meant that one book had to be discarded for every new book that was purchased. The East 80 branch opened on Bellevue Road in 1987 to serve the growing population of the east side of Bossier Parish. It was the first public library in Louisiana to be fully computerized. East 80 proved to be a popular location immediately, so much so that 3 months after its grand opening, an expansion to the original parking lot was necessary. This branch was renovated and expanded again in 2005. Houghton was also home to one of the initial branches, opening in 1940. Gladys Hutz was the first librarian in Houghton. For a time in the 1940s, the library moved into a room in the Houghton High School building. In 1950, the branch moved into new quarters in the Masonic Lodge building. In 1970, the village of Houghton donated land and $5,000 toward the construction of a new library building. The new building housed both the library and the town hall. After this remodel, the Houghton Library branch was dedicated and renamed the Dorothy Elston Alford Memorial Houghton Branch. Mrs. Alford served as the Houghton branch librarian for 19 years. In the early 1960s, the Bossier Parish Library announced plans to compile a collection of photographs, scrapbooks, and other information related to the history of the parish. These items were indexed and kept at the Bossier City branch. A dedicated history center opened in 1998, directly behind the central branch on Beckett Street. The building featured large exhibit spaces and a storage room for archival materials. The first manager of the History Center, Shanna Falk, was excited about the new facility. There is a need for this center around here because it's created one central repository for historical items that are now scattered all over the parish. It helps give people a sense of who they are. The plain dealing branch was opened within the town hall in 1940. The police jury approved the construction of a new building that opened in 1959. A children's area and preschool activity center were added during a 1987 expansion, along with the doubling in size of the public service space. In 1991, the library was renamed the Rita Sanders Cowan Memorial Plain Dealing Branch, in honor of her over 40 years on the Bossier Parish Library Board of Control. The plain dealing branch was renovated and expanded in 2003, almost tripling its square footage. Plain dealing natives Katie and Curtis Allen donated the property for the expansion in memory of Arthur Clyde Lusk. Miss Rita, as she was most affectionately known, was born in Plain Dealing in 1901. She spent 40 years teaching second grade to children in Plain Dealing. She was a lifelong educator and a lifelong learner. She returned to school during summer breaks and eventually received her master's degree in primary education. In November of 1949, Miss Rita joined the Bossier Parish Libraries Board of Control and was elected president in 1960. In her 40-plus years on the board, she only missed one meeting due to car trouble. She served without pay or expense reimbursement because she felt she could be of service, and because of her love for education. Public libraries are, after all, a vital part of the educational system in America. The former Coran branch was originally a grounded state library bookmobile and opened in 1977 on land provided by Bossier Rural Electric Corporation. A mobile building replaced the bookmobile in 1987. In 2012, land was donated to the library by the grandchildren of Anna P. Tuke, and a beautiful new library was named in her honor, along with a playground and walking path. The branch opened to the public in spring of 2015. In October of 2020, the Library Board of Control approved plans to move forward on the construction of a new central library and history center. A groundbreaking ceremony was held on November 2, 2021. Designed to meet the community's growing needs, the new library complex has been carefully planned through community input and needs assessments conducted over the past few years.